You know, when people learn that I represent the European capital of culture, they usually have two questions for me. One question, what grand events are we going to have in the year 2022? And the second question, how much is it going to cost? So now I will try to comment a bit on those two questions, because the answers are not very easy. You see, we at the Kaunas 2022 team believe that it is quite possible to make a successful capital of culture without any grand events whatsoever. But don't get me wrong, we are not some cult members trying to kill all the fun in the world. No, we are fun-loving people. We just simply think that the European capital of culture shouldn't be about grand events in the first place. We are at the Žalgiris Arena, and we had Kraftwerk just recently, we had Nelly Furtado here recently, Andrea Bocelli, we're going to have Roger Waters soon, and Bryan Adams. So what is the point in bringing all these people, although as good as they are, all over here again for our grand event? And when people hear capital of culture, they hear culture, and when they hear culture, they think art. And this is exactly where the other problem is. Of course, art is a proud piece of culture, and some pieces of art are masterpieces. But again, as with rock stars, it is quite possible and easy now to go to Vilnius, to Warsaw, to Riga, to Klaipėda, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours drive away from Kaunas, and to be exposed to all modern art. And Kaunas Biennial every other year brings modern art to Kaunas. And good Lord has given cheap flights for us. So today we can go to El Prado or Le Louvre or the British Museum with no big pain, really. So, of course, when we at Kaunas 2022 think culture, we of course think art, and we of course think grand events. But in fact, thinking of culture, we think about everything from gardening to circumcision, which, as you probably know, is a purely cultural phenomenon, and very personal one. So we think about our mindset, because culture to us is the way to do things. And if we want to change our life, we must change our ways. If we want to change our ways, we must change the culture of these ways. And this is exactly why the European Union was created for. They wanted to change from culture of warfare into a culture of peace. They wanted to change from culture of dictatorship to a culture of consensus. Did we succeed? Well, partially, but as we all know, the European Union is not over yet. So we have a good opportunity to do that. Have a good opportunity to offer these changes to be made. And the European Capital of Culture could be a perfect starting point. It could become a case study, a playground for the new European ideas. And we see European Capital of Culture as a huge educational project. And as you know, there are two approaches to learning or education. One is vertical approach, based on authority and theory. And the other one is horizontal, based on community and practice. That is, I learn from you, you learn from me, and we all learn together. And this is exactly the way I hate, because I was taught vertically. And when I speak, I instinctively choose the vertical way of presenting things. Because it is effective, it is easily measurable, and it works. And by the way, every rock concert is a manifestation of a vertical, or speaking ex cathedra is a manifestation of this vertical way. People come in their thousands. Now, a horizontal way is far more difficult. It is complicated, it's time-consuming, because it involves socializing, it involves getting acquainted, and sometimes it involves getting stuck. And of course, it is difficult to measure, and sometimes we may fail. This seems exactly the problem white colonizers had with American Indians. They could try to persuade them voluntarily, to give up their land and their belongings and their culture, but mass shooting proved to be more effective. I know it is a provocative example, and I know there's a fallacy here, because white colonizers precisely didn't want to talk to Indians because they didn't want to listen. Now, I'm getting back to the European Union. I understand that horizontal approach mustn't be applied everywhere. I don't want us to become, a hippie community of 70s where sometimes sheer irresponsibility and basic laziness was presented as communal values. No. At the end of the day, somebody has to do the dishes. At the end of the day, somebody has to pay the electricity bill, and somebody must be in charge. So I think a healthy European Union and European capital of culture concept should be based on balance between those two things. And of course, Europe must be properly vertically governed, but at the same time, it is created to listen. It is created to listen to its diverse communities and to provide for slow mindset change, which is difficult to measure, difficult to monetize, and frankly, difficult to advocate. That is why European Union loses by points to all types of radicals, because radicals are always vertical. They don't listen, they speak, and they know the quick fix. So horizontal approach means that lots and lots of patience must be put into it. And this leads me to the next question of how much is it going to cost? And answering to that question, I would ask, well, how much do you think the World War II has cost? How much war in Serbia cost? How much costs and will cost war in Syria? Because all these wars are based on one simple premise, that I know the way, and I will implement it, and I will impose it onto you. And I will be in charge, and I will not listen. So there is one more important thing about horizontal approach. Since there are many opinions, many people, we cannot be sure about the outcome, meaning there's uncertainty involved. And to deal with uncertainty, we need trust. And trust, my friends, is a purely cultural phenomenon. So next time somebody asks me those two questions, I will answer to them like this. Every day of learning that we have in Kaunas 2022 is a grand event for us. And this day costs exactly as one day of happiness and peaceful life costs. Thank you very much, and now I'm back to my usual duties.